Okay, it's 4 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call this meeting of the Urbana Civil Service Commission to order. Let the records reflect that all commissioners are present. Okay,
Because this is remote, do we have to take a roll of them being present?
okay. Liz, would you call the roll?
You're mute.
Okay, sorry about that.
We could probably
Marion-
read your lips, though. You know.
Marion
Knight. Go ahead. Sorry.
Knight,
Present.
Tom Betts,
Here.
and Tracy Nally.
Here.
Okay. Approval of minutes of July 29, 2020.
I move they be approved and placed on file.
Second.
Moved and second. Questions? No questions, and all in favor say aye.
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 And really quick, since this is, we are attending remotely, we will do a roll call for all of these approvals.
Oh, okay.
So Commissioner, let's start with Commissioner Knight.
Present.
Can you motion to approve or
The minutes.
for the
You say
minute?
yes. You say
Just a yes.
Okay, did you ask me to make a motion?
No, we're voting on whether to approve the minutes.
Oh, yes.
All right, Commissioner Nally
Yes.
and Commissioner Betts.
yes.
Okay, moving on. Public input. You have anything, Liz?
I believe Jason, can you control that?
Yeah, I can control that. First up is Christopher Hansen. So, Christopher, I'm going to allow you to talk, and you have 4 minutes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Christopher Hansen. I live in Urbana. I think you guys have heard me speak at a few of your previous meetings. The first issue I'd like to touch on is public input itself. Yeah, I know your board isn't accustomed to public input, but you've probably noticed that the clock was set to 4 minutes this time instead of 5. And surely you're aware that the mayor and the council have passed a new ordinance on public input itself. And I'm kind of curious, because you have at least 2 attorneys on your board, what you think of Mayor Marlin's attempts to restrict free speech at meetings like this. And the new rules say that you can mute someone for abusive, harassing, threatening, or defamatory language. The new ordinance prohibits members of the public from specifically naming public employees or issuing criticisms to specific people, and it's an obvious violation of the Open Meetings Act. And so, I guess besides how you feel about this generally, I'm kind of curious: is your board going to be enforcing these types of speech restrictions upon members of the public who speak? I think every board should be issuing a statement about this, because you're in the untenable position of, I suppose, possibly violating city ordinance or possibly violating a state statute. So it's a difficult situation, and I think every board should. And I'm also curious if your board was consulted on the public input rules in any way. The next issue I wanted to talk about is the issue of your board requiring passing of a criminal background check for employment by the city of Urbana. This is not legal by my reading of the Urbana Human Rights Ordinance. It's specifically disallowed. It's certainly not in the spirit in any way of the Human Rights Ordinance. So I'm wondering why you think you can provide for a requirement in the city employment descriptions or requirements that a private employer would not be able to do. It doesn't make any sense that the city is going to engage in types of discrimination that they have clearly described as illegal by any private company that resides in Urbana or does business in Urbana. Next, I want to encourage your board again to make some kind of statement or give some kind of consideration or have some kind of discussion about how, when you are making a description for an employment position by the city, is it your understanding that 100% of your work is such that people who work for the city are there to protect only the interests of the city and the city staff itself? Or is it your understanding that part of your charge is to look out for the interests of the public such that public employees are actually working for the public? My current understanding is that almost everything the city of Urbana does and that your board engages in is in pursuit of the former. And I think if we're going to be ethical and we're going to do the right thing for the residents of Urbana, it should be in pursuit of the latter. And that brings me to my next issue, which is that of city values. And so I brought this up a few months ago, and your board has espoused or stated in your job descriptions that city employees should follow the Urbana city values. And we realized, and I think it was a little embarrassing, that there are no publicly stated city values. And so your job descriptions were kind of making a citation for a set of values that doesn't exist. So do you think they should exist? What's your position on it? We never cleared that issue up. And I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Okay, Liz.
Do we have anyone else wishing to make public comment?
No one else has their hand raised at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on to action items.
Okay, well, let us start with the Economic Development Coordinator and Supervisor position. We can talk about these together, and Lori Pearson is here. She is the Community Development Services Director. So Lori, if you would like to jump in at any time, please feel free to do so. As with many city departments around this time, we are looking at reorganizing and seeing how we can perhaps more efficiently conduct business. And part of that involves restructuring some of our positions. Economic development is one of those areas. So what we are looking at doing is adding a classification of Economic Development Supervisor. This position is largely based on the Economic Development Manager position, which was appointed. We are now looking at bringing that position into the classified service and working as a supervisor. Some of the additional duties would be put on a couple of other positions that we have in here at the city that are more related to strategic planning and development, but the position would largely remain the same. And as far as the Economic Development Coordinator goes, that is an existing position, but there were a few modifications as noted on the job description. Do you have anything that you'd like to add, Lori?
So the coordinator position, the supervisor is going to be what used to be called a manager, mostly those positions, and the coordinator. The coordinator is not new.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
It is currently vacant, but
Yeah.
it is not new.
So will the supervisor position is it vacant also, or it will be vacant? Are they both vacant?
Can I answer, Liz?
Sure.
So the manager position is vacant. There
okay.
is someone that is serving as an interim supervisor,
Mm-hmm.
so doing many of the same tasks.
Okay. Well, I would make a motion to adopt these two job descriptions and to include the supervisor position into the civil service system.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved to second. Any
Right.
questions? No questions? Okay, Liz, will you take a roll call vote?
Certainly. Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Betts,
Yes.
and Commissioner Nally.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate your service.
I appreciate yours, Lori.
Okay, Liz.
All right, Amy.
Sorry, I was muted. So the next item on our agenda is a request to modify a job description for what is existing right now is a tool room clerk or attendant. And so a little bit of history here. Several years ago, there was a dedicated part-time fleets park clerk position. Those duties, that employee retired, and those duties were then absorbed into the existing tool room clerk position. And then a couple of years ago, again, there was another restructure in Public Works where the fleet division was absorbed into operations, and there was a little bit of restructuring there. And the fleet duties of the tool room clerk attendant started to become more prevalent. And so due to an upcoming retirement, this job description was analyzed and updated to more accurately reflect the current duties of the position. And you'll see those changes in the attached job description.
Mhm.
And I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Oh, I thought it looked pretty straightforward to me. So
I'll move approval.
I second.
Moved and second. Any questions? And we'll have a roll call vote.
Certainly. Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Betts,
Yes.
and Commissioner Nally.
Yes.
Okay, Liz.
Okay. So looking at November, we would like to request approval to reschedule the meeting that would normally occur on November 25th to November 18th, the week before.
You're moving it to the 18th?
If that works.
Oh, yeah.
Can
I
you wait
think
just a sec?
anything works for me these days.
I should be okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Do you need a motion on that?
Could we go ahead and do that?
Okay, I'd make a motion to change our November meeting to the 18th at the same time.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Any questions? Okay, roll call.
Okay. Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner Betts,
Yes.
Commissioner Nally.
Yes.
Okay. Liz, anything else?
For informational items, I think we'll just go ahead and hold off until next month. So
Okay.
that's all we have.
All right. Any commissioner have anything they'd like to bring before the commission?
Just a question. And I don't know the rules. Are we ever supposed to address when the public person raises some issues? Are we supposed to address that, or are we supposed to do what? I don't know the rules.
Well, my understanding, if it's something that pertains to this commission, we can address it. But if it's something that's outside of the commission, we can't address it.
Okay.
And if it's a legal matter, that's the legal department.
Sure. I only raise it because he pointed out that there are two of us that are attorneys, and we are not the attorneys for the city of Urbana
Right.
or the commission. I would get paid much better to do these meetings if I were acting as the attorney.
Right. Yes.
I want that to be clear. We are not the attorneys for the city or for the Civil Service Commission. We may have our own legal thoughts, but I don't express them because that's why we hire competent legal counsel.
That's exactly right.
It's the only reason I'm raising the issue, because people like to make a big to-do about that, and that's not our role.
Okay. Anything else? Then
I'm drinking tea if you care to join me.
there being nothing else, this meeting stands adjourned.